Hi, this is Old Nan. I'd like to talk to you today about Game of Thrones, Bran's journey to the Land of Always Winter, and what he found there. The title of this one is White Walkers Have Green Seers. In Game of Thrones, it's full of mystical, miraculous, and magical events, and all of these have elements of magic, and they're different kinds. There's elemental control, divination, skin changing, raising the dead, necromancy, and glamoring. Elemental control, fire mages, and red priests of R'hllor. They seem to be able to control the elements of fire. They're able to set the blades of fire with their hands. They're able to use fire alone to attack enemies or just amaze the crowds. The wizards of the Rhoynar, they were able to use water magic to manipulate the water. It's possible that other wizards and sorcerers know ways of using other elements. Divination is the second use of magic. Some people exhibit the ability to see the future either through dreams or looking through flames in case of followers of the Lord of Light. This is called green sight if following the old gods, or dragon dreams if it's done by a Targaryen. Skin changing. It is the ability to enter the mind of an animal and control its actions. Only one man in 1,000 is born a skin changer. Raising the dead. Followers of R'hllor have this ability to give life after performing the last kiss. They come back with personality changes and difficulty remembering parts of their life. Necromancies. Some are rumored to dabble in necromancy, which is the ability to raise the dead as mindless automations bound to serve a specific purpose. Glamoring. Some wizards and sorcerers can change their appearance or the appearance of others by using light and shadow. Some glamours are associated with specific objects, and I think this would include the red ruby that Melisandre wears, and also Shiara Seastar used to wear a sapphire and an emerald interchangeably, and this could have been some type of glamoring to give her such a beautiful appearance. The section I want to dig into is the Lands of Always Winter and Bran's visions of the frozen home of the others. Bran looks past the wall, past endless forests cloaked in snow, past the frozen shore and the great blue-white of the ice and dead the plains where nothing grew or lived. North and north and north he looked, to the curtain of light at the end of the world, and then beyond that curtain there was nothing below him, nothing but snow and cold and death, a frozen wasteland where jagged blue spires of ice waited to embrace him. They flew up at him like spears. He saw the bones of 1,000 dreamers impaled upon their points. He was desperately afraid. There were terrible needles of ice below him. And where I'd like to start off with that is, what exactly is a spire? Several things. It's a tapering, conical, or pyramidal structure on top of a building, typically a church or a tower. The continuation of a trunk of a tree is number 2, above the point where branching begins, especially in a tree of a tapering form, a long tapering object. The web definitions are: a spire is a steeple, a tall tower that forms the superstructure of a building, usually a church or a temple, and that tapers to a point at the top. These spires are the temples of the children of the forest, and they are scattered all over Westeros. Just as the children of the forest have rock and stone spires, the White Walkers, or Night's King in the show, has ice spires or temples. Ice spires, ice spears, spire, which winds to a center. What or who is in the center? He saw the bones of 1,000 dreamers impaled upon their points. He was desperately afraid. Dreamers is used for green seer here. The White Walkers have sacrificed green seers and have them impaled with ice. Does this give the White Walkers access to their dreams or green seer abilities? Just as the last green seer, Brynden Rivers, or Bloodraven in the show, has grown into the werewood, with it running in and out of his body. By the same token, this could possibly apply to the White Walkers and their impaled green seers. The bones in Bloodraven's cave, were they the bones of previous children of the forest and green seers? Do they remain in the cave to ensure the White Walkers do not have access to their bones or DNA? It's my belief the White Walkers have their own temple as marked by these ice spires, and the White Walkers have captured green seers throughout the millennia to sacrifice them to ice in order to gain access to their abilities. The Night's King in the show could see Bran and touch him. Would he have impaled Bran on an ice spire in his temple in order to access his dreams and abilities? The pattern is set, and the White Walkers have the abilities of green seers, as seen in the show. And this is just another one of my tinfoil theories. So it just makes you want to think about it a little bit more. You've got White Walkers with a temple, just like children of the forest in their temples, their spires. Even Catelyn has to walk around spires in the Riverlands. So these spires are all over Westeros. Many of them were leftovers from the children of the forest. And so I'm very curious to see what is exactly in the middle of this spire in the Land of Always Winter. Is there a queen bee or some sort? Is it some type of maybe hive stock type thing? But as far as they're reproducing, is it that there is one queen, or are there many queens and they're all in the middle of this temple? No, and I don't know that when I will know. I'm just hoping that the Winds of Winter will come along and it will clear up a lot of questions that I'm having. The more I research and study, the more questions I find I have. So if you like Game of Thrones and you want to hear a little more details about the things that are going on or the histories and lores, then come back and see us here at Golden Girls of Westeros. You can see me on Old Nan on Game of Thrones. Lady Marie is at Game Theories with Marie and Nan. The Iron Underneath is Lady Ashley. And Hiking with Steffi is our other Lady of Gold, Lady Steph. And we'll have live streams. We'll entertain you, so we hope. We'll enjoy Game of Thrones together. So you take care and you come see us again. Thank you. Good night.